Kelly Ripa's career has encompassed far more than merely hosting television programs. She is a symbol of humor, perseverance, and optimism for many. A woman whose career was based on a smile that could make anyone feel better regardless of how awful their day had been. But beneath that smile, there was a battle. When the truth came out, fans all across the world were shocked. Kelly was advocating for more than just her career, her family, and her culture. The fight was a battle for her own life. Her children stood up in the middle of it all, their voices trembling but resolute to reveal a family conflict no one had ever thought of. Tonight, this heartbreaking but ultimately inspiring tale will be told. A moving story of a woman's battle to turn her illness into strength and the enduring bonds she and her family have built in the face of hardship. I hope you will stay, because this is not your typical celebrity story. Because it is a human narrative, it might motivate us to persevere through our own challenges. As a vibrant and endearing young actress, Kelly Ripa initially appeared in American living rooms. In the years that followed, she quickly rose to fame on television by co-hosting live shows with charm and comedy. She was adored by all, like conversing with a long-lost friend over coffee. She had a laid-back charm that was warm and engaging. But even the brightest stars have shadows. Kelly also faced challenges that were not readily apparent. She simultaneously handled the pressures of her well-known family, the strain of her career, and the burden of her notoriety. It began gently, as such stories always do. Fatigue that seemed so heavy. The pain continued for much too long. What had been a consistent pattern of doctor's appointments abruptly increased in frequency. At first, Kelly disregarded the warnings. She followed the path taken by many powerful women. She was a natural on camera, a mother, and a TV personality. But internal concern began to grow. Apparently, her family noticed. Her longtime spouse, Mark, pleaded with her to relax, while the children muttered concerns. But never one to back down from a challenge, Kelly stuck to her denial until it was no longer possible. The diagnosis was shocking and enlightening for Kelly. Suddenly, there was no time to waste. Every laugh, every dinner with her children, every morning was burdened with a new load. The news had an impact on Kelly and her loved ones. The children were the ones most impacted by the shift. Seeing their mother, who served as both their compass and their rock, stand up for them broke my heart. But this is where the plot takes a different turn. Kelly Ripa chose to battle the heartbreaking news of her sickness, rather than surrender. In interviews and private conversations, they talked of the pain of witnessing their mother's struggles. They discussed traveling to the hospital in a panic, staying up late worrying, and maintaining optimism, even when all seemed lost. One young girl described Kelly as a warrior, not because she never cried, but because she did and continued. Another recalled moments when fear was defeated by laughing. Kelly would sometimes tell them, "We will not let this define us." Their words radiated power rather than weakness. Strength developed in the furnace of family strife. It wasn't only weathering the storm that Kelly Ripa accomplished. She fought as hard as she could. She relied on modern medicine, doctors, and treatments, but love was the most important factor. The words of her children, the notes from admirers, and the notion that her story was far from over gave her strength. There were definitely dark moments when I felt worn out, scared, and unsure. But there were some successes. Each and every test and treatment worked. It felt like a little miracle to be able to smile at someone at dinner. She fought not just to survive, but also to show that perseverance does not equate to easy surrender. The choice to continue despite what seemed to be overwhelming odds. It was pressure that led to conflict. During times when fatigue tore at patience, and on days when hope seemed to be waning, there were financial considerations, schedule conflicts at work, and the ever-present uncertainty. In spite of all that adversity, a beautiful thing blossomed. The family improved their ability to communicate honestly and openly with one another. They leaned on one another with a new kind of intimacy. They found that when love is tested, it can either strengthen or weaken. Reba's consolation family situation worsened. When her illness made headlines, fans responded with compassion instead of rumors. The mail came in large quantities. Social media was flooded with support from many who had experienced the same event. Kelly would read these comments and feel uplifted whenever she was feeling low. They told her that her struggles were shared by others and that they reflected the. For many years, Kelly Ripa has been a dynamic, humorous, and captivating morning TV personality. She looks invincible on TV thanks to her contagious cheerfulness and witty humor. However, things behind the studio haven't always been sunshine and rainbows. As the children of the well-known talk show presenter recently revealed the hidden hardships their family has faced, a story of love, courage, and tenacity emerged. Taking up the challenges during her career, Kelly Ripa has transformed from a soap opera star on All My Children to one of the most adored and recognized television presenters in the U.S. Her ability to balance a good job in parenthood has always earned her admiration. But icons are not deities. Kelly often struggles to protect her family's sense of normalcy from the pressures of celebrity. Rumors about Ripa's family issues continued over the years, but she rarely confronted them directly. She once said in an interview, "I don't want my problems to overshadow the joy of what I get to do." But now her children have shown the public what it's like to labor behind the scenes. The children's voices. Alongside her husband, actor Mark Canellos, Kelly Canellos is a loving mother to Michael, Lola, and Rockin. Each of these kids has grown up under the spotlight and has occasionally felt overtaken by it, even if they share it with their well-known parents. In poignant interviews, they talked about difficult times when it was difficult to deal with both private and public criticism and challenges simultaneously. Michael, the eldest, says that during Kelly's busiest years, the family experienced significant emotional turmoil. He said that they could tell when Kelly Ripa's strain was getting to them, but that his mother was always there for them. Lola, who is renowned for her candor, stated that family disputes were common and that she never wanted us to witness her crumble, even though she bore a heavy burden. We are far from perfect, despite what some people might think. We cry, we throw fits, and Mom also has issues. With her comments, she allowed people to see the true side of the woman who seems so calm and perfect on television. We, the youngest, highlighted how Kelly's passionate love brought them back together repeatedly. She never allowed us to be apart, even when things got tough. Mom always made sure that our family came first, no matter how terrible circumstances got. The Kelly retaliation. But what is Kelly Ripa's response to such charges? With bravery, she no longer tries to hide her emotions and has begun to speak more openly about the challenges she faces at home. Despite working in a challenging area, she has alluded to the challenges of child rearing on her show. "I struggle every day to maintain equilibrium," she remarked. "It was an open moment. I'll win some days and lose some if I'm lucky, but I keep trying." Millions of parents can identify with the stress of balancing personal, professional, and family obligations, and this candor resonates with them. Kelly's struggle is about perseverance, not about giving up. Exposure's power. What makes Kelly's story so compelling is her determination not to let her family's struggles define them. Instead, she transforms hardship into an opportunity. When she acknowledges her shortcomings, her audience and kids learn that vulnerability is strength. Her children's candid remarks have sparked discussions about the unjust expectations placed on well-known families. Many people hold Kelly in high regard and believe she is doing a fantastic job of teaching her children to be courageous, honest, and to persevere through difficult times. What's beyond? Kelly Ripa is now an inspiration to many people in addition to her work as a television personality. Instead of becoming weaker, she has become stronger as a result of her family's struggles. With the help of Mark Canellos and her kids who are finding their own voices, Kelly continues to fight for love, unity, and authenticity. In the end, her story brings her healing, rather than despair. Even the best performers have terrible days, as Kelly Ripa courageously and candidly demonstrates. But what really sets them apart is their ability to bounce back and continue to shine in the face of adversity.